Hey, beautiful soul. So, welcome to day two of speaking about the inner child. I'm going to share with you today my inner child story. And I'm sharing this in the hope that some of you may hear some of the bits and pieces that have happened to me as a child, things that have happened as a result of what has happened to me as a child, and may be able to look at yourself and say, that's potentially my inner child that is surfacing and has a problem. So for me, if I start at the very beginning, probably the best place to begin, hey, I was sexually abused by my father. From my knowledge, I was about 3 years of age. I believe the first time he possibly did other stuff to me rather than just touching me or whatever was I was about 6. Um, I've always been very sexually promiscuous, even as a child. I remember that voluntarily I started doing things at the age of 7 with a friend. I have lost my virginity at the age of 11. That was kind of like voluntarily, if you're with me. But I've also put myself about with many of my brother's friends in my teenage years, shall we say, and done things that, most kids would do, but obviously I had no respect whatsoever. I have used sex as a way of love. And up until very, very recently, I always saw no emotional attachment with sex whatsoever. So I could have sex with anyone. It didn't really matter. It didn't matter what you look like. Honestly, I had no respect for my body whatsoever. I didn't even enjoy it. And up until quite recently, I wasn't able to, have the full experience of enjoying being with someone in an intimate way. Um, so I probably slept, let me see, probably with well over 100 people. It's not something I'm proud of, okay? I have partaken in group orgies with people. I have done some really deplorable acts, if I'm fair. I've sold my body for sex. And what I mean by that is I used to be one of those sex phone lines when I was 17 years old. And I think you kind of dial 8551, something like that. And I've got a PO box number or whatever. And anyways, I guess probably the worst case of that was a 60-year-old lady put me on a train, met me in Plymouth, and then abused me the whole weekend. I didn't know any different back then, but I had such little respect for my body. I didn't really realise what was going on. Um, so, yeah, kind of like sexually, I've had massive issues in my life. I've never been able to enjoy it, or I've always seen it as a function. I did get very heavily into the BDSM world back in 2016. I was a Dom. I had a profile on FetLife. And I very much put myself out there. I found that because of my poor mental health, if I'm honest, I used the dominance as a way of trying to control what had happened to me, but in a controlled way. I have no problems with the BDSM community. I think they're some of the most wonderful, amazing people in the world. It's very much a taboo that we speak about, but actually, if you do it in the right way, I suppose it is safe, sane, and consensual. But it's just something that we don't talk about. All right, but I did very much get into that. I don't really have anything to do with that, if I'm honest. It's not my bag, if you're with me. But at the time, it really, really worked for me. And I guess probably some of the people that follow me, you might be able to relate to that. I don't know if you ever considered that. It's just a thought, but very much I found that I've been both ends of the spectrum. I've been the submissive and I've been the dominant, and I found that that has given me what I've needed at that point because of my poor inner child. I have been in, I think, 3 violent relationships. I always found that I was worth nothing. So I've had people piss on me, I've had people spit on me, I have been beaten up pretty badly, if I'm fair, but I had no respect for myself again. I've massively suffered with my weight, if I'm honest. I've been very up and down. I've not often been skinny, but probably I think 2016, 2015, 2016, I got down to about 10 stone 10. I was pretty much solid muscle. I was training at the gym twice a day sometimes. I was extreme calorie counting. I had a personal trainer. I used to train 7 times a week, etc., etc. And why did I do that? I did it because I couldn't sleep, because my mental health was so poor, and I found that being absolutely exhausted, if I'm honest, was the only way I could sleep and escape the night terrors. Um, I've had flashbacks galore like you wouldn't even believe. I've not had a bad dream though for probably well over a year. Um, but I used to literally get them all the time. I'd wake up soaking, covered in sweat. I would, and I wouldn't know why. I'd wake up, my sheets would be soaking wet, but I'd have no idea why. And I used to scream out and all sorts. I couldn't share a bed with anybody. Yeah, it's been pretty bad at times, if I'm fair. But I've been in and out of the mental health system a good 20 plus years. I've self-harmed for 2.5 years, from 14 to 16 and a half. My little brother, he found me when I was 16. Maybe I think I was about 16 and a half, something like that. I'd slit my wrists. And I used to be quite proud of my scarring. So if any of you have self-harmed, you'll understand what I mean when I speak about how great it feels to cut yourself. Not that I'm saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying from my experience, I remember self-harming was a way of relieving that pain. And it was very much seeing that blood coming out of me was like letting that pain go. I've not self-harmed though, if I'm honest, for about 15 years. I had massive issues with alcohol throughout most of my life. I have to say though, I have been dry for a number of years now. I'm able to control my alcohol intake. I had a drink with my wife-to-be, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and I probably had 2 or 3 drinks last year. I did have a problem again in 2019. I had a problem with alcohol again in 2016 and 2017. I've never done drugs though. If I've done everything else in my life, I have never done drugs. I've probably smoked a bit of pot, that's about it. But I probably used alcohol as a crutch, as a get through, okay? I've been homeless on several occasions. So I've either been really good in my life or I've been really down and really out. But I kind of found myself homeless, and I remember I've slept with people because I wanted a bed for the night. I've slept with drug addicts. I've slept with people that I would beg to even believe, if I'm honest, okay? But again, this comes down to the not respecting the body, not respecting you, etc. So yeah, kind of like for me, I guess really, I really started working back on my inner child probably back in 2016. I knew I had a massive issue, and it was all because, you know, seeing my father for the first time. I've been, like I said, you know, I've had violent relationships. I've been part of the narcissist empath paradigm. I've been through that experience several times in my life. I've been in very, very controlling relationships. I think have I tried to control anybody in the past? Potentially, but I've always submitted and given in. I've not been able to hold down a relationship properly. Maybe some of you can relate to this. I'll push you away before you're going to get to know me and hurt me. So I would start what they call the ending process. I'm really honest about this, okay? But I would meet somebody, all right? I would get them to fall in love with me because I know how to do that, okay? And I would then make you fall in love with me, and then I'd be like, this is too comfy, this is too good, this is too great. I need to end that relationship because what if they find out me? What if they find out I'm a bad person, etc., etc. And I have literally been able to turn myself off like that. Can any of you do that? Can any of you absolutely cut someone dead in a second? Can you do that? If you can, that's your inner child protecting yourself by cutting off any emotional availability at all in any way. I've done that to several people in my life. I've just not been able to hold down a relationship, if I'm fair. But you know, those of you that follow me, you know that I'm now getting married next year, which is pretty amazing. And yeah, I guess so many things have happened as a result of my inner child, but I just want you to know I'm sharing my story so that you too can know that you can heal. I've like I said, I've been out of the mental health system 20 plus years. I've had so many counsellors, guys. I've tried everything I can to heal myself. And I guess if I'm honest, I did a huge amount of healing back in 2016. But if I'm fair, probably meeting my twin back in May 2019 really, really started me on my inner child healing. And that's where kind of like I learned to heal myself. I realised that for me, honestly, personally, counselling wasn't the way to go. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I've been past counsellor to counsellor. I've started working with a counsellor. Sorry, Kel, your case is too severe. We can't deal with that. Oh, we don't deal with sexual abuse. We don't deal with incest. Okay, so you get moved across to somebody else. You get moved across to somebody else. And in the end, you just, I don't know, you just end up telling your story to people over and over again. And it's like they love ripping the Band-Aid off. And how many of you have sat there with a counsellor and gone, well, that's it, that's your hour up. Great, so I've just poured my heart out to you. You've given me nothing to help myself. And now I'm left absolutely in tears, and I'm supposed to, we'll see you next Thursday, Kel. Really, can any of you relate to that? So anyways, that's kind of, I think, pretty much in a nutshell, most things I've covered. I'm sure there's bits and pieces I've missed off, but you know, they can't be relevant, all right? But like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm sharing my story because I want you to know, the person watching this, if you can relate to any of this, including weight issues, people pleasing, pushing people away, everything, just know you can heal like I have. And like I said in yesterday's video, and as I maintain all along, my inner child, she ain't a bad person. She's amazing as LK. And you know why I know she's amazing? Because she got through all of that. Your inner child is not a monster. Your inner child is just stuck. And my little girl, she was holding on to 2 or 3 memories. And can any of you relate to the true feeling of wanting your daddy to come back? Can you? Because if you can, that's what mine was. My real big sticking point was wanting my daddy to come back and tell me he loved me and he was sorry. Anyways, that's my story. My name's Kel Kafaki, and I'm just sharing that in the hope that it helps you too. You're not alone, all right? But by talking about it, I'll tell you tomorrow how I've gone about healing it and how I believe I can potentially help you in a spiritual way to maybe find the emotional freedom that I have. Take care. Have an amazing day. And I hope this has helped in some way. All right. Cheers you.